This episode may contain strong language and adult themes. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
Something fucking
Ladies
missing
and
here.
gentlemen, Mike forgot to start the video yet again. Well done, Mike. And welcome to the 22 Dropouts.
Yeah, welcome. Thanks, Jules, for doing my job for me. Do you want to come over here and press record for me next time as well? Because that'd be really useful.
It's much more fun when you fuck it up, mate.
Yeah, well, we're a depleted lot tonight. Phil is away. Arduous trip to Hawaii. He's on his way back. Some of the other guys are coaching and things tonight. Daryl is working away. So it's just the three beauties or the three ugly sisters, depending on you see what I mean. He's like a fucking pantomime dame, isn't he? Sam,
right. Put me in a dress and call me madam.
Well, hashtag, you heard it here first. Sam's getting rather perplexed tonight because he's just looked at a poster that says that there's two dates for Dubai Sevens this year, and you're quite upset and perplexed about that, weren't you, mate? Wondering what you needed to do.
No, actually, I wasn't, mate. It looked like that, but just as we were recording, I bloody got a phone call from the vice president of Malta Rugby, so I just had to try and take the call. So I'm going to disappear for a moment because it's something important. So I'll join back in a minute or two.
Okay, bye.
So we have to talk about Sam for the next 10 minutes.
That's easy. Yeah. That's dead easy. But actually, let's talk a bit about rugby. Did you see much this weekend, mate? Oh no, you were away, weren't you? With our good friend Remy.
I saw the Cardiff game.
Right.
So I watched that, and I saw a replay of Fourth Call ladies versus Morrison ladies in one of the lower tier in women's Welsh rugby. Because one of my friends plays hooker for the Fourth Call.
Okay. Well, in that case, we'll let you off, and great to see that it's televised.
Finland versus Sweden women live, and I was assisting.
Yeah, so you were doing that game, weren't you? CMO.
I was fourth. No, I wasn't CMO for that. I was the fourth official, and I was helping the match commissioner out because he didn't have any assistants. So they kept me busy all weekend.
Oh well, I should hope so, and hopefully they kept you entertained and well fueled and oiled.
Well, I did a little bit of CMO work as well with the ref, but because I was so busy, I told her I'm not going to have time to run in, or I probably won't give you much. I just gave her one thing at half time, and then we had a little chat after the game. And the referee, she's a good referee, but I found out the referee on that match, Petro, good job by the way, Petra. Sweden won. And no, I found out because I've known Petra for years, and she's been on the Sevens circuit for ages. She's a very good referee, and I found out that was her first international game at 15s. Wow. I was quite shocked. I thought she'd done loads.
Now, who's this referee in South Africa? Is it Amy somebody?
Amy, yeah.
Yeah, who this week probably made more spectacle than Nigel Owens ever did when she says, I'm the referee, I'm not your childminder.
Honestly, I watched a lot of that game. I realised she was on, so I started watching that game, and I didn't see it all, but I saw bits of it, and I saw the end of it, and there was a controversial decision at the end, and I was watching it going, she's fucking nailed that. She's got that spot on, and all the Italian players with arms up in the air, speaking with their hands, screaming. I was like, that's just typical, stereotyped. It was just like, why'd you do that? It's just all you're doing is building on a stereotype of Italian people.
Well, yeah. But there you go. If we can have a stereotype, we might as well use it, haven't we? And I seem to remember a story on this show about an Italian with a boot tour van full of kit throwing his arms up in the air in the past. No?
No.
Maybe it was before your time, but I can't remember. Someone remember.
Before my time.
Was it?
I'm just so young. I'm just so young. That's where the good looks came from. That's what
says Papa Smurf.
No, I get called that on games sometimes.
That's because
my face blue and put the white hat on. I'm good to
you
go.
look like Papa Smurf. That's why. It's simple. There you go. Talking of Welsh rugby, they play in this new URC crappy thing, don't they?
Damn right you do.
Now, some interesting decisions this weekend. I don't know whether any of our followers follow TAS on YouTube, but I mean, what he does, it's nice how he puts it together, pauses, zooms in.
It looks all fancy, and he looks like he's criticising the referee and all the rest of it. And then I watch it, and I think 90% of the clips he's made, all I think is, well done, referee, you've got that right.
Now, I don't know whether this guy is actually a referee, and if he is or she is, what level they're at. Yeah, there's some hoolies. I mean, this week he does not like Ben Whitehouse or Ben Blake. I'm absolutely convinced. Because
I saw the one that you sent out to us earlier, and I've actually commented on that one and asked him, oh great, so was the referee's decision penalty blue there? Because there's clear movement there, and I put a comment up just to see what all the internet trolls come back with.
Absolutely. Keyboard warriors, stand by your beds.
For me, the referee, apparently, because I've asked Sam what the decision was, when he comes back, he'll probably tell us. Because I didn't see the game, I've only seen the clip, and you can't see what the referee does. But for me, it was the ref got it right. This young man should be going to bed soon. In his football gear. Have you been playing football tonight? When are you going to start playing rugby?
Oh dear, it's football. Get out. Come on, go away.
And he's back.
And he's back. So yeah, this was a game. I don't know who the teams were, but it was Ben Whitehouse in the middle. And basically he's put together this video saying it's a 4G pitch, it's wet, it's very slippy, and there's a tackle near the line. And he thinks he slides and he pauses it, and he said the tackle is made here, he's allowed to reach it. And I thought, okay, he's going with the fact that there's a double movement. But no, he then describes it all as momentum. I'm sorry, son, propelling yourself with your arm and your knee bent and then your leg extended afterwards is not momentum.
With the ball. It's no, that's not releasing the ball. That is jumping forward after you should be releasing it. Penalty blue.
Yeah, I agree.
It was Edinburgh versus Blue Bulls. It was Edinburgh versus Blue Bulls.
Was it? All right. I didn't know what game it was. All I know was I just saw the clip. To be honest, I didn't until you told me it was Ben Whitehouse on the game. I didn't even know who the ref was.
No, it was cracking game. He actually had one of his best games I've seen him ref. Actually, he was very, very clear and concise right through the whole match. He was very deliberate in his actions.
He's been very good this season, I gotta say.
Yeah. He had a fantastic game. I was impressed actually.
So, what did you think of the first of all the way that they came to their decision, and secondly, after watching that analysis, that in-depth analysis from TAS, what did you think of his analysis about it?
Well, my personal opinion was that it was a double movement because he did prepare himself forward off the knee. I went with off the knee rather than with his arm, but you could see clearly you can see from the knee. But you can see it from the other angle. You can see it with his arm as well. So
if he had stopped and just reached out, would his arm have reached the line? Not a chance.
No, he wouldn't.
He propelled himself.
Yeah, and I think
it was a difficult one to make because of the conditions and the 4G pitch and the wetness and all the rest of it. But it was the right call to say there was a double movement. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I think it makes it look easier for this analysis guy because as he's doing so, the tackler lifts him up by his sort of shorts, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And I think that probably helps him to propel himself along as well. Now, what about the eye gouge in that clip?
I'd never even seen the eye gouge during the normal plays. I wasn't even looking at it that way.
No,
to be honest, I even looked at that replay and didn't think that was an eye gouge.
I think there are. Yeah, I think it's for something maybe the sighted commissioners to have a look at and decide and it may be completely accidental, but was contact made with the eye area? It's not the gouging anymore, it's anywhere around the eye area. So I think they might have a look.
I see his hand do this on the video, and then like literally on the next frame, his hand's there. So I'm like, that's not gouging. You need to run that in no.
In real time. In real time, was there any player reaction?
No, there was no player reaction. There's no injuries. Nothing.
There wasn't not a thing. So it wasn't even a gouge.
No, I don't think so. But we've got one or two angles, haven't we, of that? Whereas the sighting commission will have an awful lot more. But
on the screens running at the same time and see it all at once.
Yeah. But there was another one as well. So after the Munster Connacht game this weekend,
I've got a good one about the Munster Connacht one. It's quite funny.
Actually. Oh, go on then. You tell us yours at Munster Connacht.
Right. So did you watch the game?
No, I've just seen the clip of the kick forward.
Kick forward. So are you talking about the 50-22?
No, so I'm talking about the try. So in my one, there's a kick ahead. Two players are in front of the kicker, and one of them is run onside by another advancing player who was onside, so that's fine. But the one in front never gets overtaken by his teammate and kicks the ball again, which then goes and leads to a try for Munster.
Yeah.
And I think is he an Aussie, the coach over there?
Yeah, he was offside.
He was offside. Now the try was reviewed by the TMO, and the try stood, and yet I think that was pretty obvious. And the coach has done an interview since, and one of the things that he said was he can't believe some of the decisions and some of the things that are going on from the refereeing team in the URC. And he was asked, he particularly mentioned that because it was a very close game. And so it wasn't, it was the Connacht coach, wasn't it? Not the Munster coach. And he said afterwards, that cost us the game. That one decision turned the game completely on its head and the scoreline. But when the reporter actually said to him, where do you go? Where's the recourse within URC? Because, of course, now being a different competition to the Pro 14. And he said, I don't know. Because, of course, Greg Garner, who was in charge of referees when it was the Pro 14, he's left that job. And at the moment, there is no one person to go to with all of the issues or the feedback for refereeing in the URC, so he says. Well, that's an interesting thought, isn't it? That there doesn't seem to be one. Yeah, well, I thought we would do a job interview tonight in part 2 as to, and you guys can do a 30-second pitch as to why you should be head of refereeing for the new URC. And we'll do that after we've said hello to Phil. Hello, Phil. Oh, go on then, Sam. Go on quickly. Give us your Munster thing before we go.
Say hello to Phil first, because it's always polite to say hello to Phil.
That's fine.
Hello, Phil.
Hello, Phil. Welcome back to normal weather in Las Vegas.
No, it's freezing here.
Freezing.
Exactly. Normal weather.
Oh,
yeah.
20 degrees.
Minus 20 degrees. 1 when I got up this morning here.
Oh, I'm not that cold. It's not that cold.
Right, so
it was,
it
was 26 in Honolulu the last 3 days.
Honolulu. Oh, here we go. It's getting his grass cut out again. Go on, Sam.
I would actually like to see you do that live after a few Shangri-La's.
With
almost did.
Yeah, with the little grass skirt.
With the grass skirt and that.
I almost did. I came very close on Saturday.
Well, that would be a live event, that it should be. Anyway, so Connacht Munster. So there was an awesome part in the game, which I found it quite hilarious actually, where there was a tackle ruck scenario, and the ball spilled out of the ruck, and the Connacht hooker picks up the ball and hoofs it down the park, right, from inside his own 22, and it goes out through the opposite 22, and he gets the 50-22, right? So the commentary's going, what a brilliant kick, reminds me of Keith Wood for the Lions, in Ireland, kicking down and chasing his own kick and all that rest of it. The brilliant commentary, and he gets to throw in his own will. He's earned his team a really good advantage here. So 50-22, where does the line now have to take place?
In the 22?
inside the 22. So why is then the hooker standing outside the 22 throwing in the ball? So, right, so that's number one, right? Number two, right? After all that effort, what does the ref ping him for? Not straight. Oh, look, I'm not finished yet, right?
Oh,
So,
God, here we go.
So the ref says scrum option or line out, and the Munster picked the scrum. Okay, so he sets the scrum up on the 15, right? And the Munster 9 goes, is that in or out, sir? And he goes, it's out. And the front row of the Munster goes, but it was a 50-22, sir. He went, oh, my apologies, yes, it's inside. So he took the scrum inside. It was actually the hooker's fault, right? Because if he'd set up properly, the ball would never have been knocked freaking straight. It would have been fine.
I think that's a really good time. I think that's a great time for a break, especially for the hooker, because clearly he was exhausted by that kick chase.
I think Munster actually got the penalty from that.
Brilliant. Well, there you go. What great team of players and officials. We'll take a quick break, and we're going to see you right after this.
When you need clear and concise match official communication systems, look no further than the brand new AXIWE AT350.
Radios are always useful, they always help us, especially AXIWEs, where all three of us can be open at any time, we can have open communication.
Available now from refcomsglobal.net. Investing profits into match official development worldwide.
Welcome back to the second part of tonight's 22 Droppets, where surprisingly we're talking rugby, and we're actually talking something different, the URC. And before the break, we looked at some of the highlights, I suppose you could call them, or the lowlights of some of the games. Now, there was another one, wasn't there, with what on the face of it, in real time, with one look in live play. It really did look like a guy in the air jumping for a high ball had been taken out by an opposition player, and it looked like this is going to be a red card, didn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I saw it live, and I was like, "Is that?" I questioned that one immediately, because the guy who's taking him out has bumped into somebody else and been knocked on the floor, and then taken him out while he's been running. He probably wouldn't have caught. He might have just stopped in time.
Yeah, I think that wide angle though that we saw live in the game didn't show that initially. It was only when we started to see the replays, wasn't it?
Yeah,
and that's exactly what happened.
Yeah. So the guy's gone up in the air. This is Amy's game again. I think we mentioned it earlier. Osprey's player's gone up in the air. Benetton players come in, try to slow himself, but he's run into a player, or he's been pushed by a player. He's gone to the ground and taken the guy out in the air. That player's then landed on his back. And Amy has gone, right, okay, technically he's gone up and taken him in the air, landed on his back, so that's a yellow card. But due to the push, we're going to mitigate it down to a penalty only.
Now, would you mitigate? Bear in mind, if he's been pushed into that player by one of the...
This is the point that the Italians came up with. You could see them waving their arms around and all the rest of it. And you could see the Italian captain go, wait, you just said he pushed him into our players. So there's no foul play by us here. So how's it a penalty?
I totally agree. It's either the card...
I made a very good point.
Because it's either the card or it's play on.
Yeah, but it's because the protocols are saying that a person goes up in the air, you got to look after them. So she's following protocol, isn't she?
Yeah.
So should they then have yellow carded the guy who pushed the other player, because 100%. It's his responsibility to make sure he doesn't push a guy into a guy in the air?
That might make sense, wouldn't it? But then try and explain that to all the fans.
Oh yeah.
What part of the game was that at, mate? Jules, do you remember the time?
It was right at the end. It was the last. And the thing is, that kick for that penalty won the game.
Right. So
that was the 3 pointer that won the match.
Was it?
I've just found the match, mate. It was on Premier Sports.
Okay.
Well done, mate. Congratulations.
Yeah. And I'm at 65 minutes.
Somewhere, I'm not sure.
And we can't show it because Premier Sports won't let us. So there you go.
No.
If anybody wants to go and have a look, start looking around. What was it, 65 minutes or so? If you've got Premier Sports.
Just go to Sam's Facebook page. He'll post it there.
Yeah, actually, you can go to Facebook page for Sam Ramage. You can go to our socials, which are up there. Just search out 22 Dropouts because we'll find one of the links. We'll just repost it, won't you, Jules?
I will. I'll find it.
Good lad. Good lad. Now, Premiership then. Not a good weekend to be a Bath supporter.
No, they got humped.
No. But then again, is it ever a good weekend to be a Bath supporter?
That's a very good point.
I'm a Cardiff boy. I've got to be a little bit biased against it.
Yeah, and especially when it's raining at the Rec.
I've never been to the Rec when it isn't raining, for God's sake.
Well, there is that. But you have to have a really thick coat with a really good waterproof hood because everybody practically is outside.
Well, to be honest, every time I've been to the Rec, I've been reasonably wet on the inside as well. So there is that.
So you don't notice it as much. Yeah, it's a nice place to go. Nice place to go for a game. Wouldn't want to go there more than once every year.
A couple of times works, but yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Interesting. I don't think I've ever been there. I really don't like going there because I don't think I've ever been there and won either.
Well, Sarri certainly went there and won. I think it was something like 770 at one point or near about. The Bath did score towards the end, didn't they? But geez, what a score line that was! And Phil is getting his notebook out, and it can only mean one thing.
77 minutes it is.
So, how many minutes, Sam?
77 minutes.
There you go. Go and have a look. Premier Sport. Spend it on game. 77 minutes.
It's from a kick-off restart after the penalty when Ospreys went 29-26 up.
Yeah.
Phil, stop looking so smug.
Oh.
No, stop. Samuel, you're supposed to be a TV host here. Come on, stop watching something else.
Well, this is the part of the debate.
We've already moved on from that, chat.
Yeah, we have moved on. We're talking about the under 12s playing an international side because although I think the under 12s might have put up a better show than Bath did at the weekend.
To be honest, in what's meant to be a competitive top level game at your own ground, losing 71-17 is a bit of a disgrace. And they haven't won much the last few weeks either, have they?
No. I mean that's going to be hard to take, hasn't it? That has got to be hard to take.
Playing a championship side basically as well. So.
Oh, you went there.
Yeah, I went there.
Oh, naughty. Now, anybody seen Eddie's squad announcement?
I saw it. Yeah. Oh wait, I saw the announcement, but then I also saw the list that the RFU put out, and they were not the same, were they?
Oh, really? I've only seen a couple of names. So are you going to talk us through it then, Jules?
No, not really, because I don't give a shit. It's England.
So what were the standouts for you then in there? Because there's a few that are out, isn't there?
Yeah, but Smith's in there. Not the only one I've paid any attention to.
Marcus Smith is in there. I think Farrell's still in there, sadly.
I think he was, yeah.
I think the Polos are out.
Louis Rees-Zammit has mentioned, made a comment about Marcus Smith when he was in the squad. One of the Welsh, our lovely Welsh winger. He said, yeah, he's a fucking pest to play against because he doesn't stop fucking talking shit all game.
Hey, he could be a
chap off the pitch, but on the pitch, he's a fucking nightmare. Just this all the time. Bollocks constantly.
Excellent. Well, the hashtag you heard it here first again.
No, it was on BBC.
Oh, was it? So, is there anything that you think, apart from Marcus Smith, which we know that's a standout name in there, but it was expected. He couldn't keep ignoring him, especially after the.
You should be starting for fuck's sake. He's been fantastic.
I totally agree.
And I think this season he's even got better.
Oh yeah, 100%. I
don't want to play against Wales.
So
no,
for you.
No, I know. But we're all right. We're not doing too bad because I saw the Welsh team announcement as well. And Anscombe's back, and he had a good game.
Okay.
Yeah, after a very long time out, he's back playing for the Ospreys. and he's back on the Welsh squad list. Rhys Priestland's moved back to Wales now from over the bridge, and he's back playing for Cardiff. So he's made the squad as well. And then we've got Bigger as well. So we've got 3 decent 10s with a lot of experience there. And yeah.
Finn Russell and Stuart Hogg are not in the squad.
And we signed Di Young's boy.
Yes, well, we broke that story on our WhatsApp group earlier in the week, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
So yeah, let's have a look. We've got obviously you've got Marcus Smith, but he's also called up 4 uncapped players in Nick Dolly, Tommy Freeman, Mart Atkinson, and Rafi Quirk as well. I think that could be really interesting. Some good dynamics that could be there.
Yeah, we've done the same in Wales. We've pulled up a few new players and inexperienced players in there for the All Blacks game, at least, because we've got 21 players unavailable for that match.
Wow, how come?
Yeah, blaming the English at the moment. Not releasing for games. It's on a non-international weekend, so the English Premiership, as always, refused to release all the players. And we've also got, I think we've got 15 injuries as well on top of that.
Right. Okay.
There's one more as well because Navidi got himself injured last weekend as well.
You're a bit screwed then, really, aren't you, mate?
Totally. To be honest, I've looked at the squad we've got with all the injuries. It's still not bad.
Well, could it be another heyday for Welsh rugby going on the horizon?
They've got their chance now. So some of the second string players, they're going to get a shot. They'll probably get a shot against New Zealand because that's where the English-based players aren't allowed to play.
Yeah.
So
are you
what about Scotland?
To do it.
And what about Scotland, Sam? How's that looking for you for the autumn?
They seem to have quite a lot of new guys coming up and through. He's resting some of the older guys and more experienced guys like Finn Russell and Stuart Hogg, for example, are not included in the squad at all. They're not a part of it. I think that might be something to do with the Lions and stuff like that, but maybe giving these guys a bit of a rest. But yeah, should be interesting.
And what are you doing on autumn internationals, Phil? Nothing quite as exciting as England versus Tonga or anything, are you?
Good referee for that game, though. There'll be a good referee on the Tonga game.
It'll have to be. So does that mean Ben will or won't get it?
No, Craig's got it.
Has he?
Yeah.
Do you know all the appointments now? Oh yeah, because of course they came out, didn't they?
They came out this week, yeah.
Fantastic. But Phil will still be sunning himself. No, because you're going up north, aren't you, Phil?
I'm going to DC this weekend for the All Blacks game.
Yeah, so that's up in DC, is it?
Yeah.
So it could be a bit cold up there for you.
That's what. Sure. That's the question we got to. I'm going to do a Vegas thing here right now. As shocking as that may come across, what's going to be the total points and what's going to be the point differential?
Oh, okay. So,
Ooh.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, by all means.
90 points.
Right.
And New Zealand wins by 65. I have an incoming call coming from Solveta Condom.
Condom.
Why do you always get spam phone calls during our show?
No idea. All right, so that's mine is 90 points.
Okay.
Actually, I'm going to change it. I'm going to change it to 80 points. I apologize. 80 points. I'm going to give US the opportunity to score 2 tries. 80 points and 65 is the point differential.
Right, Jules, what do you reckon?
For which game? What? I couldn't hear you.
US New Zealand.
US New Zealand. Oh fucking hell! 200-0.
You're not even giving the US a chance for the US.
The US will kick off and do the restarts.
No, I think you'll probably. We're talking 15s now, not 7s, right?
15s.
Otherwise, I'd have said 198-0 now.
50. If they go with 15 aside, the US might get a few penalties, but that'll be about it. The only other time they'll actually have the ball will be at the kickoff and restart.
I'd have gone
after
about
New Zealand have scored.
71.
So I'll ask the question again. We'll get into the
71-9.
discussion.
71-9.
71-9 for Jules. What do you think, Sam?
Who's playing?
Mike?
I'm going to give. I'm going to say it'll be 13 to the USA.
55.
Give it a try. Give it a try.
55-16 to New Zealand.
Okay.
And I think it'll be 65 to New Zealand.
Okay. So
I just remember how they played against Chile and Uruguay.
it's not you know you're not a very good team when your offense is only kicking off.
Yeah.
Well, you are if it's sevens.
Yeah, but we're not talking sevens.
I know.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
you guys have more confidence in this game being a lot closer.
Yeah.
I don't see New Zealand
It's
putting
the end of the season for the All Blacks.
I think they will.
No, but they're using it to a tune-up for you fuckers.
Yeah, but that's why they'll put their second string out to give them game time.
Which is why I'm only giving them 80 points.
And on that bombshell, we're going to take a quick break, but we'll see you right after this.
Hi, I'm Tom Barndell, former England 15s and 7s player. In 2022, I'll be supporting the first ever Samburu Sevens rugby tournament in Kenya. Teams from all over the world will be coming together for the safari and rugby in the plains of the Wildlife Reserve. There are 3 categories of competition for both men and women. Register your interest now at www.samburusevens.com and come join us on this amazing new event.
So welcome back to part 3 of this rugby show, which doesn't resemble anything that the 22 dropouts normally do, because we're still talking rugby, and this doesn't happen normally. But in the break, we were talking a little bit more on our cumulative totals for the USA All Blacks game. And Phil, you were mentioning your your deepest and darkest worries about North American rugby at the moment.
Yeah, I'm not sure where they need to go. I'm not anywhere near the top of that level of discussion, but there's a clear differential on the product and expectation and what's being delivered. And we're talking national teams, we're talking all these professional sides that are trying to get going. We know that there's professional sevens league now that's started last week, and all that's fine and dandy, but I don't know if that's promoting the quality of the rugby as a team. It may be promoting more as individual quality, which gets right into what U.S. sports are focused around. They're focused around individual data, right? Like, most yards per carry, most passes, most incomplete passes, all that kind of stuff. And I worry that there's some of that being crept in there. And I'm only saying that on a superficial thing because I have no belief that that's the intent. I think that though it's possibly going to be an outcome.
Yeah, it's interesting because there was a push for more MLR franchises, wasn't there? And then the price to buy one suddenly skyrocketed, and they made it really difficult.
Yeah, the last I heard, I think a franchise was close to what, 8 figures, I think. Again, I'm not in that business model. I'm not sure why anybody feels that it's that valuable. What you do is you start it out and you build the value like you would do any other franchise. You got to have a product to sell.
Yeah.
And when you got, in the country, there's about 150, maybe 175,000 rugby fans, and maybe expanded to 300,000 when you're taking people who've retired or moved away from the game for the last 10 years. But you start dividing that amongst 12 or 14 locations, the most you're going to get at any event is going to be 3,000 to 4,000 people. And in your finals, maybe 5, 8. I'm not sure how that all pencils out.
Yeah, it's interesting. Very interesting.
And keep in mind that MLR is going into season 4. Yeah, COVID was disruptive the last, and they played through COVID. Good for them. I mean, that was a solid win for them this past year. But they canceled the season the year before. They only played till, I think it was the first weekend of March. In fact, we had, I think, 4 games or 6 games in Vegas. But after that, it all disappeared. So when you're looking at this whole thing, it's a hard time to be starting a new league and having an expectation of putting premier quality product out there when you don't have the premier quality product.
No, exactly. And do you get the feeling that's what's happened? Well, we know that the World 10 series was being pushed, and then COVID hit, and they just did that one weekend, didn't they?
Bermuda?
From Bermuda, yeah. And I don't know where that's going. Is there?
Yeah, I've heard several locations now are being entertained for World 10s as a circuit.
Yeah, well, that was their intention always. But
yeah.
Is there room for the game?
Well, I've had this discussion many times. I'm not sure. I'm a purist, right? I remember back in the days when tries were worth 3 points, 4 points, 4 points. Yeah. I don't remember when it was worth nothing. You had to make the kick in order. That's before my hair time. But I'm more of a purist kind of a deal. Like, I like the 15s. I don't mind 7s. Spend a lot of time around it. But what it comes down to is that there is a lot of dilution that's going on there. And if the idea is to get more people in the game, I think you're taking away from the other games.
Yeah, I do.
So I'd be really curious if you had 100. Yeah, if you had 100, let's say 1,000 players, are you growing the game or are you diluting the game? Right across instead of just
I
playing.
think you're diluting it.
Yeah. So instead of just playing 7s or 15s, now you're saying there's X number of people are playing 10s as well, and there's some money coming into it. We're working on a big event in Las Vegas the 3rd week in January, the 22nd weekend, and that's going to be a pro-am with a cash prize of 70 grand.
And that's what pulls people.
I prefer 10s to 7s.
Do you really?
It lets the front row have a game.
Yeah.
In a tournament environment, whereas 7s doesn't.
Look, I think that's where 7s and 15s.
It takes away a little bit of the space. You still have that kind of 15 style of playing, but you still have the 7s laws to try and get that fast game in it, and you play in a tournament environment, so you can still bring the props along, and they can still get a decent game in.
I think there's just a big enough juxtaposition between 7s and 15s to be 2 different games. So you are a 7s player, or you're a 15s player, and if you're front row, you tend to be a 15s player. Do they really want the extra speed?
And I think at the pro level there is that split as well, in that the props are fitter, faster, much more mobile around the park, and they might be the odd ones who can fit into that 7s mold. But for the community game, for the community game and the lower level matches, I think 10s is so much more.
I'm in agreement with Phil here. That 15-a-side, let's not forget here, 15-a-side rugby is the game of rugby.
Yeah.
It is the proper version of rugby. 7s, 10s, touch, all the different variations are exactly what they are. It's a variation of the game of rugby. It's in 7s is brilliant. It's a fantastic game, and I love it. And you can develop players and referees massively in the game of 7s. But let's not forget that the actual game of rugby is 15-a-side.
I mean, for me, 7s and beach rugby are the two. They're the window for the non-rugby fans to come and have a look, and maybe come into the 15s game and grow to love it. But for those who know absolutely nothing about the sport, it's much easier to explain a 7s game to them than it is to explain it again a 15s going on with all those bodies. Much
but then
easier
with 10s coming along and wanting to have a series, and you're going to pull those players. Bearing in mind, you're going to get those players from somewhere, as Phil said. And then with 12s, I mean,
and 9s.
And 9s is league, isn't it? Rugby league 9s.
Yeah.
That's their version of 7s. But
Yeah.
with this now widely promoted 12 series, are we in danger of actually asking ourselves, where is rugby? Because it can't be in every one of these media. It's got to be somewhere. Like you said, Sam, that's rugby. Or are we in danger of three people suddenly? Because, well, actually, do you know what? We've got play on, which means you can play with park teams. And when somebody doesn't turn up on your Saturday game, are we in danger of it's over the next several years, the game becoming a 12-a-side game?
For me, 12s is like, oh shit, we've only got 12 players, ref, and the other team have got 16. Can't we just share the bench and have a bit of fun, and we'll just screw the result? We're like, yeah, all right, no worries.
Yeah.
And
I don't see it. I don't see how it can fit within the game.
Awesome fun, because you have a good laugh. They don't care about who wins, so there's no foul play as much on the pitch. Everyone throws the ball around. Everyone comes off the pitch happy that they got to play, and you get absolutely fucking wankered after the match on a few beers. They throw food on for everything. The party goes on for fucking hours.
Now, it's funny you should talk about. It's funny you should talk about foul play, because I'm going to show you a clip now from a game. I'm not going to mention the teams because of any ongoing investigations. You can't see it very clearly. It was just filmed on somebody's phone, just happened to cause the action, as it were. But have a look at this clip. This is a very experienced referee as well, who had to manage this at the weekend.
Oh, nice. Nice. Very nice. Haymaker.
It's like WWE Wrestling Federation.
That's a haymaker.
Where's the ring? Where's all the ropes around it? And the referee going.
I thought that the boxing was last weekend.
That's not boxing. That's a complete pile driver.
It's a haymaker.
Fucking hell.
It's a stationary clothesline is what it is.
So did the rest of the scrum?
Yeah, who gets the put in at the next scrum then?
Yeah, scrum for that one, eh? Oh wait, was it rugby? I looked at the shirts and thought, was it rugby league?
Well, yeah, it was a Colts game.
A Colts game.
That was a Colts game yesterday.
Yeah. What is Colts?
Colts is under 19.
Yeah, so, they look like they're 16, 17 years old, those guys.
Yeah, so we have two Colts here. We've got under 17 junior Colts, under 19 senior Colts, and that was an under 19s game.
Okay.
You know.
So I went with 6 months in Borstal and a rehabilitation program when he's allowed out of Her Majesty's prison.
Anger management.
Anger management as well. Somebody did quip on the group chat that it's just a scrum restart. Stop the game for safety. No, I mean seriously, you see that in discipline with a referee report, what are you going to do there? I mean that's awful.
Oh crap!
What was the referee's position with that? Did he call it?
Oh, he got it. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. And he's on the side of the swinging arm as well, so he saw it quite clearly.
Okay, good.
But the fact is, it looks like he's jumped into him.
Lads, we're going to have an education session here. Once he gets up, he can do the same thing to you.
Oh no!
But Mike, did the clip stop right there, or is there more about the guy going to ground stuff?
When I don't know. That's all the clip I've got at the moment. We'll have to see if we can find some more footage. But you say about restorative justice there, Julian.
I was joking, and you were obviously
good because I know somebody who was, and let's put it this way, he's an ex-teacher, who when he caught a pupil stamping on somebody in a ruck, he made them lie face down on the pitch while all his teammates walked over his back in their boots.
Yeah, someone's going to get fired for that shit.
You think?
So, my question.
You know what? But he'll get hired by somebody else to say, fucking appreciates that.
Well, there you go. There's a yin to everybody's yang, isn't there? Now, I want just very quickly before we finish tonight, Sam, what's based on that clip? I want to know what's the most brutal thing you've seen or had to manage as a referee on a rugby pitch.
What's the question?
What's the most brutal tackle or incident that you've ever had to referee on a rugby pitch?
I've had to, as an assistant referee, for a touring team that was over in Malta, where one of the home players in Malta stamped directly on someone's head about 6 inches away from me. And I mean stamped on his head.
Dear.
He got 18 months.
In prison or ban?
No, ban.
Oh, okay. Just checking, mate. Just checking.
Yeah.
Jules, what about you?
When I was a young referee, or just starting refereeing, I had a game where 3 red cards in one incident. And it was, I didn't catch what started it, but one player on the opposition hooker just starts laying into him. One of the other players comes laying into the other one, and the other one of them down on the floor. He's holding him on the floor, punching him in the head. Blood everywhere. 1, 2, 3, all off. The one player who'd instigated it they must have been doing something to him, because you don't react like that without somebody doing something to you. But his own teammates had to carry him off the pitch, an arm and a leg each, and he was still trying to wriggle away to get back to punch the guy some more, and threatening him he was going to fuck up his mother and all sorts of shit. Yeah, it was. He came up and apologised after he calmed down a bit to me and to the opposition player, but I don't know what they said to him on the pitch or what they did to him on the pitch.
Somebody's definitely done something, haven't they?
Yeah.
Absolutely lost it.
It was
What about you, Phil?
That was a Zidane Zidane moment.
There was 3 red cards in that one incident.
Brilliant.
So keep in mind, I used to regularly referee Polynesian community.
Ooh, shit. You don't need to say any more, Phil.
Yeah, that'll do it.
So I mean, I don't know if I have a ranking. We could talk about a raking or stomp right across the guy's face where he almost lost his eye. Like literally, there was a scar here on the eyelid, and then it hit below here. Somehow it missed his eyeball, but crazy. He got a lifetime ban. And then I had 3 incidents in 2 years where referees were assaulted. One was kicked at a scrum, and then when he was on the ground, he was booted by the same player. He ended up spending 7 months in jail. And then I had another incident where the player was getting red carded for punching the other team, and the guy comes over to referee, and the referee gives him the red card, and he hauls off and cocks the referee when he got the card. So I got several of those incidents, sadly.
I'm not sure if somebody punched me. I'm not sure I'd just stand there and take it.
Well,
Even as a ref.
That's happened in the UK, in London. And I can't remember which. I know the referee who did it. I can't remember which one it was. But he has actually told me the story of, one of the guys did something and pushed me, and I lost my temper because he'd been winding me up all game, and I knocked him out with one punch and red carded myself.
Fucking brilliant. This is not the biggest ban I've had. The biggest ban was 52 weeks for a punch. But the funniest one, it's got to be doing a quite an average to lowly game in the middle of the Peak District. It was been raining. There's puddles everywhere. And I said to the guys, look, we'll play, but if we go in these puddles, and some of them were quite deep, we're not going to ruck in that or anything. We'll scrummage if we need to, just to the side of it. So just bear with me, we'll manage it. Well, we'd done most of the game, and then about 15 minutes before the end, this prop comes on. The opposition come tanking down. He gets an ankle tap. He hits this puddle and aquaplanes. He's got a bow wave coming over, either side of his head. And literally within the blink of an eye, he goes squeeze ball onto his shoulders like that, and lifts his head out of the water. The nine's there ready to get the ball away. I thought, I'll just let that play. Just as the nine's getting the ball away, the prop who'd been on for less than 2 minutes jogs over with his flab going up and down like this as it does, dives on him with his knees on his back, gets his head, turns it and holds it under the water. The card's out before I've even blown the whistle properly. And all the guys are going, no, it's got
it. How do you write drowning on the ref report?
Well, that's it. He said to me, he looked up Right, there's this poor guy. He's got grass and mud and water dripping off his face, and the prop turns around and said, "What's that for?" And I went, "Attempted murder. Off you go, son."
Well, the guy who stopped, it was a Veterans Day weekend in Southern California, and I actually was there. I was a referee coordinator, but I was also a referee coach, and I was going over to go watch this game because I was coaching the referee. And about 10 minutes into it, it was a team out of Canada that was playing the game. Guy gets tackled, or he's ball carrier, gets tackled on the ground. Ball's placed out there, but the opposition player came right in. Instead of stepping over the ball, I saw him drive down across the guy's head. And I literally saw him, and the referee saw it too. But so you have two witnesses, right? So the game was stopped. The guy was red carded and everything else. He said, well, he didn't do anything wrong. And keep in mind, I was on a disciplinary committee. I was the chair of that at the time. So I had to recuse myself because I'm a witness filing a statement on this. And he ends up getting a lifetime ban. And I've caught him playing twice since then.
Oh, really? Jesus.
Yeah, because he's stupid enough to put it up on Facebook. and I troll him. I troll him on Facebook because of that. But the governance doesn't do anything. So I just give up.
Well, there you have it. If you're going to be stupid, don't go on Facebook. With that, we're going to say goodnight. Take care, everybody, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.